Hello everyone, this is Raji here, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about Swift strings. So let's start. First of all, we'll create an Xcode playground. So I'm naming this playground as Swift strings. So it's asking me for where should I save my playground file. Currently I'm saving it on my desktop. As you can see, my playground is created over here. So let's start with Swift strings. So basically, what is a string? Strings in Swift are an ordered collection of characters such as hey, hi, how are you, hello world, and they are represented by string Swift data type string, which in turn represents a collection of values of character type. So let's begin with the syntax of creation of string. So I'm going to create a new variable named string A. And I'm assigning some value to it. I'm trying to print my variable using print statement. And I am creating a second variable named string B. Assigning a value of assigning a value named hello Swift. So as you can see over here, I have created two variables named string A and string B, and I have printed the values of both the variables. So as you can see, when I execute the statements, the value of the string statements is printed on the right bar. So first of all, this is the initialization basic string creation syntax of basic string creation. So I have used my var keyword, then the name of my variable, and I have inserted a value in it. And now the next part is how to create an empty string and how to use it in our code. So basically an empty string can be created either by using an empty string literal or creating an instance of string class. So let's start. So I'm creating an empty string. So this is the syntax of creation of an empty string. I'm assigning a value of and I'm assigning an empty string literal to this particular string variable string C, which means that this string C is an empty string. And if we want to do a condition check, a conditional check on this particular string, I'll let you know how to do that. So what I'm doing over here is I'm checking whether this particular string is empty or not. So in Swift, to check for an emptiness, to check for whether a string is empty or not, we need to use this particular method is empty. So I'm checking this if string C is empty or not. If it is empty, then I'll print string C is empty. And if it is not empty, it will get into this else statement and it will print string C is not empty. So as it is clearly evident over here that this particular string is empty because we are assigning an empty literal to this particular string. So obviously it will get into this if statement. If string C is empty, then print string C is empty. So as you can see, my value is printed on the right sidebar, which shows my string C is empty. So if I put some value in it, so now it should get into my else statement, which is showing string C is not empty. So this is the way to initialize an empty string. You can either use an empty string literal or create an instance of string class. That's it. So here I have created the string empty string using the empty string literal. Now we'll create the empty string using string instance. Using string instance. So I've created a new variable string d, and I'm not assigning it an empty literal string literal. I'm creating a string instance. So there are two methods, two ways to create an empty string, using a string literal, which we have already discussed, and using a string instance. So I'll create my string instance. So this is syntax on how to create a new string instance. I have created a constant string variable named string d, and I have created an instance of my string class. And I'll do a check to check whether this particular string is empty or not. The similar fashion which we have done in the above code. So what we have done over here is we have created a string instance and created a string variable. I mean, there is no assigning of value to this particular string variable. Both these ways are used to create an empty string. So as you can see, my statement, my if condition is being executed and it is returning my string d is empty. So these are the two methods on how to create an empty string. So now we'll move on to string constants. So what is meant by a string constant? You have to decide, or you can decide whether your string can be modified by assigning it to a variable, or it will be a constant by assigning it to a constant. So as you are aware and how to create a dynamic variable and how to create a constant variable. So we'll create a dynamic variable whose values can be modified during runtime. I mean, with the string can be modified. So we'll create a variable named string f. I have created a variable named string f using the var keyword, which means the string can be modified, and I have assigned a value of dynamic variable to it. And I am assigning a value of dynamic variable to my string. Now I'll try to modify this string by putting some other variable. So to my string f, so what I have done over here is I have created a variable and I have assigned the value dynamic variable, and I have created a variable using var keyword, which means this variable can be modified. And in the next statement I have mentioned given another value to my variable. I have written string f plus equal to creation, which means the existing value of this particular variable will be concatenated with a new variable. I mean, this value won't be replaced by the existing one. So as you can see over here, on my right sidebar, it is printing dynamic variable creation, which means both the variables or both the values of string are being concatenated. This is meant by a dynamic variable whose value can be modified at runtime. Now we'll create a string variable whose value can't be modified. Okay. So those variables whose values can't be modified should always be created using the let keyword. So I'm creating a variable using the let keyword. The variable name is string g. I'm assigning it a value of constant variable. And I'm trying to do in the same fashion which I've done to my previous dynamic variable. I'll try to assign a new value to my variable. So here I have created a variable. So as you can see, there is an error printed over here which says left side of mutating operator is immutable. String g is a let constant, which means string g can't be modified using in this particular fashion. So a let keyword, a constant string created once and assigned value, it can't be modified. So this particular thing is wrong. We can't do this thing which we have done to our existing dynamic variable. These are the major difference between a string constant. So next we are gonna learn about string interpolation. Now what is meant by string interpolation? String interpolation is a way to construct a new string value from a mixture of constants, variables, literals and expression. I mean an entire mixture of, if you want to create a new variable using string, using constant, using variable, literals and expressions by including the values inside a string literal. So let's see how to do that. I'm gonna create two variables. One is a dynamic variable string p and I'm assigning a value of 20 to it. Now I'm creating another constant variable string q and assigning a value of 30 to it. And I'm creating one more variable, a dynamic variable string r and assigning a value of 40 to it. So we'll learn about what is meant by string interpolation. String interpolation means you need to construct a new string from a mixture of various variables. So I'm trying to create a new string z, which will be a combination of all these above strings. String p So as you can see, I have created a variable named string z, which is a combination of all the above strings. I have inserted the value of string p. I have mentioned string p is not equal to string q, which in turn is not equal to string r. So as you can see, the value printed on the right hand side of our playground, so it is showing as 20, which is the value of string p, is not equal to 30, which is the value of string q, which in turn is not equal to 40, which is the value of string r. So this is meant by string interpolation, means which is to create a new string using a combination of different variables. So that's it guys, that's it for now. So in the next tutorial we are going to learn about string length, string comparison and Unicode strings, and about string functions and operators. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Bye bye guys. See you soon.